Quick reminder, the course coupon code for all of the amazing courses on money, real estate, and stocks and YouTube videos does expire on Tuesday. Hey everyone, me Kevin here. I have a good news update for us regarding stimulus, and I'm so excited I didn't even get out of the poop shirt. So here's what's going on. Nancy Pelosi just agreed to release a new stimulus bill. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Republicans and their intent to vote on a discharge petition on Friday. And then we're going to talk about senators threatening to go back home. And at the very end, I'll talk about stocks and some economic things that are going on related to COVID. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get right into this. First, yesterday, I announced that the House has passed a continuing resolution to keep the government funded and avoid a government shutdown, which is looming in just 7 days. Nancy Pelosi released a statement saying that this provides $8 billion in much-needed aid for extending the pandemic EBT program for a full year and extending benefits to the territories of the United States. It also expands pandemic EBT to children, whether or not they receive in-person education or it's virtual. Will also be easier to get SNAP food program benefits. Then Nancy Pelosi applauded the bipartisan unity of the House to get this CR or continuing resolution passed and stated, quote, "We hope to similarly reach a bipartisan agreement on coronavirus relief to honor our heroes in state and local governments, to fully embrace a strategy and plan to crush the virus, and put money into the pockets of people." This is a sign of good news, but in a sign of better news, Steny Hoyer told Nancy Pelosi to put her stimulus package on the floor. Remember, Nancy Pelosi has this $3.4 trillion HEROES Act that's been passed by the House, but there is no bill for Nancy Pelosi's $2.2 trillion bill. So, Leader Steny Hoyer said in the House to Nancy Pelosi, why don't we put together a stimulus package, vote on our version of a $2.2 trillion stimulus package, so that way at least we have this package out and can use that actual bill to negotiate with the Senate Republicans. Nancy Pelosi, and this is the first time she's actually done this, and this is a big shift, agreed. She said, we ought to put that into legislation and show what we're prepared to do. This is a dramatic shift. Literally for months, everything coming out of Nancy Pelosi has been HEROES Act, HEROES Act. Unless you want to give me a blank check for $2.2 trillion, HEROES Act, HEROES Act. Hey, we got the HEROES Act. We came down $1 trillion. Or you can give me a blank check for 2.2. We heard about the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal, which is that 1.5 with boosters up to 1.9. And this new potential $2.2 trillion bill might either shave off the HEROES Act or they'll just work up from the Problem Solvers Caucus, which I personally hope they just take the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal and work up from there. But either way, this is very, very good news. This means that Nancy Pelosi and House Democrats are very likely to actually release another compromise bill and then get something voted on and passed that's substantially closer to Donald Trump's red line of $2 trillion. This is extremely good news. Now, this is possibly coming. This change from Nancy Pelosi is possibly coming because yesterday I announced that Republicans are planning an action that allows Republicans in the House to debate a stimulus bill while bypassing Nancy Pelosi. Republicans held an approximately 30-minute press conference this morning in which they explained their intent to vote on a discharge petition as soon as Friday in the House. This discharge petition would just allow debate on any existing bill to start, whether Republicans started or Democrats started or whatever. Because usually Nancy Pelosi has to say, all right, everybody, today we're voting on this. A discharge petition basically lets them circumvent Nancy Pelosi. However, to do this, they need 20 Democrats to get this discharge petition through. According to reports, multiple Democrats are, quote, seriously considering joining the Republican discharge petition, and this would probably lead to a vote on a piecemeal Paycheck Protection Program bill, allowing a second round of funding for PPP and allowing businesses whose revenue has declined 25% access to this program. And in a sign of continued pressure on Nancy Pelosi, Republicans continued their press conference, and almost every single person who came up to speak blamed Nancy Pelosi for blocking progress. This is why we're starting to potentially see Nancy Pelosi crack here, and she did agree to put her own new $2.2 trillion plan into writing. Obviously, we don't have it yet, but this is a very good shift and bodes well for potential stimulus before the election. Over in the Senate, which I've mentioned many times, just ignore the Senate. There's really not much going on. I will tell you what is going on though, so you're aware of it and you can know that they're not really important right now. The Senate expects to vote on the continuing resolution. John Thune told us this. They're going to vote on the continuing resolution and then they're going to go home, unless they get called back for stimulus talks or the Supreme Court confirmation. If Nancy Pelosi can get her $2.2 trillion bill out though, that might get the Senate back pretty quickly. So for now, if you continue to hear negativity from people quoting senators, don't worry about it. We got to focus on the House and what's happening between Kevin McCarthy in the House. We got to focus on Steny Hoyer, Nancy Pelosi. These are the people we got to worry about. We don't need to be worried about Mitch McConnell saying, oh, well, Chuck Schumer's having a temper tantrum, those were his words. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell today continued their testimony, urging Congress to provide more COVID relief. In fact, the Business Roundtable, a nonprofit that lobbies Congress to support businesses, today urged Congress to come back and negotiate more stimulus money immediately, come back to the table, and warned of economic damage without, quote, further major support to prevent the economy from derailing. The Business Roundtable group also released statistics that 40% of CEOs think it'll take until 2021 to fully recover, and 36% expect a recovery in 2022. If we add those two numbers together, that means 76% of all CEOs think we will still have a lot of work to do to get back to normal by 2022 and 2021. Unemployment. 7 states have depleted their FEMA unemployment payments, and 13 states are still pending their first payment, other than South Dakota. On COVID, search trends for COVID have been flat for the last 30 days. They have slowed their decline. This also comes as cases are starting to spike again in some states in the United States, leading to 48,206 cases confirmed yesterday. This is the 9th day out of 23 days in September that we've had over 40,000 cases after being on a relatively strong downward trend ending the first week of September. We were trending down and now we're starting to trend up again. That is not very good. Meanwhile, Florida reported its biggest one-day rise in deaths in 2 weeks, coming in at 203 deaths in one day. Cases in the United Kingdom have now spiked to over 6,000 cases on Wednesday alone, in a sign of COVID resurgence in Europe. Johnson & Johnson trials have just entered into phase 3 of their trials on a vaccine that could be a one-dose vaccine with a booster after 3 to 12 months. On stocks, markets are very mixed today. Peloton, Zoom, and Nike are surging, and EV manufacturers like Tesla and others are dropping, along with Apple and Amazon not far behind. Tesla is down nearly 9% today, and I explained an entire Tesla thesis this morning. I encourage you to watch that video. You could just type in "Meet Kevin, Tesla concerns," and it should pop up. Furthermore, New York City just laid off 9,000 employees due to budget shortfalls, and airlines say the only way they can get back to normal is by having universal COVID testing, which hopefully one day soon we will have those $5 credit card sized Abbott Labs tests. But for now, we're stuck in our new normal. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this, please consider sharing the video, and folks, we'll see you next time.